Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you are all well. So today we are going to discuss the fourth problem in the TLE Eliminator CP sheet, 1000 rated problems. The problem name is Olya and the Game with Arrays. So let's start. Let's start by reading the problem statement first. Our team suggested a game to the girl Olya. There is a list of n arrays where the ith array contains greater than 2 positive integers. Olya can move at most 1, possibly 0 integer from each array to another array. Note that the integers can be moved from only one array only once, but the integers can be added to one array multiple times, and all the movements can be done at the same time. The beauty of the list of the array is defined as the sum of all the arrays and the minimum element of each array. That is, in other words, for each array we find the minimum value in it and sum these values. The goal of the game is to maximize the beauty of the list of the arrays. Help Olya win this challenging game. So the value of n can be till 25,000, and each array can contain at most 50,000 elements, and each element can be till 1 in 9. And we need to output the maximum beauty of the list of the arrays. So let's understand the question. We will have a list which will have n things, and each of this is a vector. That is, it is an array. The size of each of this would be greater than 2. Right. So let's take the third test case for understanding the problem. We are given 1001, 7, 1007 and 5 in the first array, 8, 11 and 6 in the second, and 2 and 9 in the third array. So what we can do is we can take one element from any array and move it to the other array, like any other array. Like this 7 can be moved here, it can be moved here, this 5 can be moved here or here, but from one array only one element can be moved. Like from this array I can either move 6, 8 or 11. So if 6 goes here, then this array would remain as 8, 11 plus the other elements that can come in this from the other arrays. So let's now dry run this in order to understand how we get the answer as 19. I will first sort the array since we are talking about the minimums. Like it will be the minimum for the beauty calculation. So now the first array would be 5, 7, 1001, 1007. It will be 6, 8 and 11, and this would be 2 and 9. So one thing that we can see here is no matter where I move this 2, this will always contribute. Like I can move this 6 here and the contribution of this 6 would become 0. But this 2 will always contribute itself. Like in the final beauty calculation, this 2 will always be there. Like the beauty for this current array is 2 plus 6 plus 5, that is 13. So I can move this 6 here to this array. Now that 6 would be gone, and in place of 6, 8 would be there. So my beauty would increase to 15. Similarly, I can take this 5 and move it here. So the contribution of this 5 will also become 0. So this 5 would be replaced by 7. So our beauty will be increased to 17. But this is still less than the 19 that is given in the answer. So let's see what we can do. I will have the minimum elements in one array. I will make the arrays. Let's see, I take the first array and put all the first minimums in that. So it will be 2 here. I will move this 2 here. 5 is already there, and I will move 6 also there. So the array would be 7, 1001 and 1007. The second array would be 8 and 11. The third array would be only 9, right? So the beauty for this would be 2 plus 8 plus 9. Now that is 19. Now taking on the other cases, like I put all the first elements, like I put all the smallest elements in the first array. Now let's put all of them in the second array and see what our answer would be. So the 5 would be gone here. So the first element would be 7. Then it would be 1001 and it would be 1007. Now in the second array we are having all the minimum elements. So it would be 2, then 5, then 6, then 8, then 11, and in the final array we will have a 9. So the beauty for this would be 2 plus 7 plus 9, that is 18. So this is still lesser than this. So our answer is still this. And if we move it to the last element, still our beauty would be like, what would be the beauty? It would go on to 2 plus 7. Now what is that? That is again 17. We looked at here. So it is still 17. So now after doing this, what we can see is that in the final array, what is the contribution from each array? Like in this array, like from this array, nothing was included. In the final calculation, neither this 7 nor this 5. From this array, our 8 was included, and from this array, both of the elements were included. This is the smallest element. This will always be included in the final answer. Now the seconds, like what are the second smallest elements? So in that, the first one would be ignored and the rest would be taken. Why? The second smallest elements were, like the smallest were 2 from this array, 5 from this, and 6 from here. The second smallest were 5, The second smallest was 7 and 8 and 9. So in the answer we can see here that it was the sum of these 2, 8, 9. Right? That gave us 19. So we have to ignore the first, second smallest element and we have to sum all the others. Right? So that is all we need to understand in this question. Let's take the first test case for example also. First would be 1, 2 and the second array is 4, 3. So the smallest elements are 1, 3. The second smallest are 2, 4. So our answer would be 1 and 4. It's 1 plus 4, that is 5. Right? That's the answer that is given. So this was just the implementation problem. Like you'll have to do it you'll have to dry run the test case to find out this. Like we'll have to take all the smallest element in one array and then we'll have to take the minimum. Right? So let's see a little bit of code now. We'll have an input that is n. Then we will input n times. The first input will be m and then there will be m integers. That is our array. So while doing this, we will have our smallest and the second smallest arrays built. Like after taking the input for this array, we will sort them and push it into these arrays. Right? So our answer would be the smallest element, the smallest in this. Like we will after that we'll sort them these both, and we will add the first element of this and all the elements in this from this, the second smallest. So second smallest all minus the first element. So that is going to be our answer. I hope you got the approach and the implementation. To dry run this for once on yourself to understand like how we came to this conclusion. Like we need to shift all the elements to the single array. Right? So now let's move on to code the same. So I have my boilerplate code here. We'll be given an n. We'll take that as input. We'll make a smallest array and we will make a second smallest array. Vector. Now we will have n arrays. For each array we will be first given the size, that is m, and then we will have the arrays. Let's make the array as m. Now let's take the whole array as input. Now we will sort it. After sorting, we will push the smallest element into the smallest array, ARR of 0, and we will push the second smallest in the second smallest array. Right. Now we will sort the smallest and the second smallest. Right. Now we will have an answer variable. We will increment the answer by the smallest element. Right. Like in the third test case, it was a 2, so we will increment it by that number. Now we will iterate over the second smallest array, leaving the first index. Smallest dot size, and we will counter, and we will increment the count by that number. And in the end, we will just print the answer with a new line. That's all we need to do in this. Now let's try for the sample test cases. So like the sample test cases are not working. Let's see what is the error. Let's print out the smallest and the second smallest as well. We will first sort them and after that only. So let's try it out. So we get 0 and 0. Why is it giving 0? Let's print the array here first. Oh, so we need to have a J here. Let's comment this out. That was the only error we got. Now the sample test is run, and now let's try to submit it. So it got accepted. That means our solution and our approach is correct. I hope you understood the problem. Comment down what was your approach for solving the same problem. The solution link would be in the description section. Do check it out. Also, this is a playlist for all the problems in the CP sheet. Do check out all the other problems as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Thank you.